Welcome to the Canadian Business Quarterly podcast, where we speak with Canada's most influential industry leaders on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all of our content, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.
Neil Gruninger is the co-founder, president, and CPO of KidoodleTV, a safe streaming service for children, which he co-created from the ground up. Over the past decade, Neil has focused on web development, online user experience, and e-marketing, and is keenly passionate about creating better digital experiences for young people. The parental presence, as well as having the ability to control the experience through monitoring systems and time limitations, have allowed KidoodleTV to make significant impact in 140 countries around the world. Neil, thanks for joining us today.
Jesse, thanks for having us. That was incredibly well said.
We try.
I might have to take that along with some of my other interviews moving forward.
Excellent. So, look, for people that don't know you, let's give them an overview of KidoodleTV.
Yeah, I mean, KidoodleTV was really built upon the thesis of families and video distribution being connected through the internet, right? So as I'm sure you're aware, Netflix is kind of a thing these days. They've grown exponentially. They started at a point in time when I started getting into video distribution, but prior to KidoodleTV. And being a part of a technology corporation that basically built out an algorithm for video distribution. And so the co-founder, Mike Lowe, and I actually met through that process and came up with the product internally at the time, because his youngest boy, his first boy, got into inappropriate content online through actually Netflix and YouTube. And so immediately we kind of understood that there was a bit of an opportunity and also a problem that we had to solve. And immediately, him and I kind of just decided that this is something that we're going to move forward with, and did the whole Jerry Maguire kind of pitch. took some employees with us, and ultimately created KidoodleTV in 2012-ish. So it's been almost 9 years, I guess 9 years since we really thought about the idea. And then from there, it's been an interesting process to build out the different, ways of children and families accessing KidoodleTV through mobile and connected TVs and smart TVs as it continues to grow in that evergreen area today as what we see it.
Okay. I hadn't realized you guys had been around for so long. How has the platform of entertainment evolved over this time?
Oh, I mean, the media landscape has shifted at an exponential rate. And I mean, we wake up and we have to keep up every day. Yep. and really pave the way for what we're trying to do to make sure that kids are safe online. We trademarked safe streaming, and it's kind of like our core of what we've really built and what our mission is online. And if you look at what YouTube has done for families and what kids are expected of a streaming service, it's just content, and they watch it and they engage with it and they want it now. And so, when it comes to technology, it's been that forever ending, build. I mean, we own all of our technology. We've built it in-house. That was kind of one of our main objectives from day one, is to own and not lease, because at the end of the day, it didn't give us the agile, momentum to shift and be a part of this forever, shifting video space. And so internet now more than ever is becoming the dominant way to watch content. And so by doing so and being a part of that kind of, I would say, the wave of internet video distribution, we've seen some growth, and through COVID especially, families are home. They need safe entertainment and educational content. And so, it's been great to actually really have have built this for the last 8-9 years, and finally really understanding that families and the industry have caught up to what our vision was.
Compared to other kids streaming services, what do you guys think that you're doing different?
There's a lot out there, especially YouTube, for example. I would say the differentiator from who we are, we focus on families, and ultimately we built the service from a product of our own needs, right? And that's key. You have Amazon, who has Fire TV is a competing streaming service. You have Netflix, YouTube, Disney. These are companies that are paying billions of dollars for content, and we don't have those costs. So it allows us to have more of a wider audience for reasons beyond YouTube, right? So you have YouTube content that has really pushed different content creation, and we've noticed that that's what families and kids are really looking for. So I think the differentiator for us is focusing on families, being that top safe streaming service from an experience level, and then making sure that we are ahead of the trends in getting that top content that families are looking for outside of like the traditional 22-minute episodics that are costing millions and millions of dollars today.
Fair enough. Your business is based in Alberta. What are your impressions of the business and the tech industry in the province?
Well, I'll be honest with you, it's been challenging in Alberta over the years. I would say now more than ever, I think we're seeing some recognition. We're getting some street cred, Jesse. Yeah. And that comes from just sticking to our guns and moving forward and building upon the vision of keeping kids safe online. But we had to go outside of Canada really to really build the I guess the momentum, finance the company, and I mean, I'm an Alberta boy, born in Edmonton, grew up in Lethbridge, moved to Calgary as soon as I possibly could. Michael Lowe, he grew up in Calgary, his family's here, and so my family's here. I'm an uncle of 6. Okay. We're proud Albertans, and we get what we offer as a whole and what the actual community can do for us. We've hired now 40 people during COVID, all very passionate about what we're doing and excited to kind of work with us and really keep kids safe online. But I think Alberta, is kind of in my mind, and Mike and I say this all the time, it's like a startup at this point when it comes to technology, and we're happy to do what we can to help build upon the technology and media industry here, and we're here to grow and diversify Alberta and Calgary as a whole.
I had asked you a couple questions ago, just giving us an overview of the business and comparing yourself to other streaming services. Let's take that question a little bit further. What more of an opportunity to plug? Let's talk a little bit about your programming and what attracts consumers to the platform.
Yeah, I was mentioning this earlier with YouTube. Gaming content is like this crazy new age, modern day, entertainment, right? Like it's become the majority of what kids today are looking for, and so it's been great to really be a part of that process and understanding, that like when I was younger, I used to play video games, and you got a remote control and you had 5 or 6, of your friends hanging out watching you play, and then it was the next person's turn. This connectivity through the internet has really, built upon this industry, and and I think with content and building on a safe streaming side for video games and bringing that into KidoodleTV, that's been a huge, value add for our customers and the kids. And a lot of times parents are expecting some older, content and recognizable content and traditional content that they may have grown up on. And we have that as well, because we have such a good I would say industry cred when it comes to all the content providers that want Kidoodle TV, because we have millions of families that are currently using our service every day, right?
Right. Okay.
So that's key, and then in terms of producing content, we've kind of started to do our own originals, and that's been really, the fun part of kind of getting creative again and focusing on what we can do. And we've been, working with YouTube stars that have created an incredible amount of usership on YouTube, and now they can't monetize their kids' content on YouTube. And I can get really into this, and we might have to have a whole nother section provided for it. But they're looking for places to house their content to actually be able to make money with, and we're that kind of alternative to a lot of these content providers today.
Fair enough. You are a Canadian company, but as we said in the intro, you're in 140 countries. How does Canada compare as a market out of these more than 100 countries?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Well, we're partnered with Chorus, and Chorus actually represents a lot of our. So we're an ad supported video streaming service, right? So AVOD is kind of the acronym there, and Chorus is the one that represents our specific inventory here, and they go out and sell our ads essentially, right?
Okay,
but the majority of all of our usage is in the United States. India is growing like crazy right now. We have a really good representation in Canada just because, our core, I would say, platforms and distribution partners like Roku, Samsung, LG, a lot of these big smart TV services, because we're Canadian, they're like, oh, we'll just give you Canada because Canada's so small comparative what they're focused on, right? So that's been great. But I'll be honest with you, Canada is really a small part of the market, and we've seen the majority of our revenue and growth outside of it.
Fair enough. Okay. So as we begin to wrap up, let's talk about where the business is at now and what your near and longer term goals are.
Well, right now we're really focused on the core of making KidoodleTV feature rich, right, and enhancing the user experience. As I'm sure you're aware, kids' attention span is very short-lived.
I've got a daughter that's 2.5. I'm well
there you go, and you can't. The second that they're distracted or technology, I was in dial-up age, so for a photo to load up, it would take 15 minutes. That you literally have 3 to 4 seconds before you lose their attention. So like I said, our technology is really our core focus today, and making sure that we have the best streaming service. We've hired a bunch of actually grandparents right now to go through all of our content before it gets vetted, or it gets vetted by grandparents before it gets on the service. So that's been a real key focus of ours, is kind of growing that employment base and really getting them involved, because I'll be honest with you, they're the ones that are so key to keeping kids safe online. They're attentive. They watch every single frame of that content before it goes up. So that's been great. And we've built the service for today, and the future is kind of now. Like we have so much green space ahead of us. We're launching on Comcast in 2 weeks, right? Comcast is a big company, and they want Kidoodle TV, and it's pretty cool. This has taken years and years and years, but we're finally hitting these benchmarks of distribution platforms that just recognize us as one of the top services out there, and they can't deny the growth and what families are looking for. And so that's been very exciting for us, is like these major operators and telco providers, they're calling us now. We used to call them, now they're calling us, right? And We got Paw Patrol. It's a big brand. We're one of only, small, streaming services that even work with Spin Master, which owns the IP for Paw Patrol, and Viacom. We're getting some other big brands. I cannot name them yet, but in 2 weeks from now, we have a major launch campaign with the top brand in the world. And that's what families are looking for and expect. And so it's been fun to get to this point today, where the trajectory, and we're outperforming ourselves every day, and we're growing from an employment standpoint. So our future is just continuing on and keeping kids safe, and making sure that families have an alternative outside of YouTube, because that's really where they're finding their content today.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a good place to end. So, Neil, thanks very much for your time today.
Jesse, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time as well.
This has been a production of the Canadian Business Quarterly, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Canadian Business Quarterly, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.